o'clock.
So I've started the recording. I'm going to call to order at 7 o'clock. Anyone want to make a motion to seat our alternate?
Make a motion to seat Scott for Hunter.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Or seat Scott for Dell.
Sorry?
Or seat Scott for Dell.
Yeah. Okay. So just a quick update. I don't know, Rick, if you wanted to chime in a little bit more, but I did contact Dave Capoletti about the audit. He said he had everything. And that he should have a final report by October 15th.
Wow.
Which
No, I mean,
Just
I'm usually used to November, so that's good.
Yeah, he said he was, I got an email from him, says tying up loose ends with Rick, and we expect to have a final report by October 15th.
That's great.
It's really good. Oh, good.
Yeah. So a couple other items I put on the agenda. The firehouse generator was purchased. I think there's some money left over. That didn't cost us $50,000 and ended up being a little bit less. I don't have the exact number on that.
It's around 42.
42?
Yeah, a little less than 42.
So do we transfer that money back into?
No, just at the end of the year, it'll go into the general fund. We'll go back into the general fund because we adjusted the budget. So it won't be spent on anything else. It's its own line item.
I had $40,641.26.
Okay.
Unless we're missing something.
How much?
I don't think we are.
What was that again, Tom? Slowly.
40,641.26.
Okay. And then that goes in back into the general fund at the end of the year.
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay. I'm not going to go through your email. I attached it to the minutes or the agenda here, Rick, but you had two things you wanted to bring up. One was planning and zoning legal fees.
Yeah. So basically the only thing I was doing was just putting it in writing of what Tom brought up during his update the last meeting. So we have planning and zoning legal fees. We do have something going on in town for planning and zoning that's already eaten up most of the budget. And I don't know if it's totally complete yet. So if we do get another one, it definitely will be over. That line item, I mean, that department doesn't have a lot of wiggle room. So that would need some contingency money to cover. And the next one is Elridge, which also Tom brought up, was struck by lightning, and their water issue still hasn't been resolved.
It's been resolved. The pumps were replaced. The water's been tested. It's all good to drink. The only issue we're looking at right now is getting reimbursed from the insurance company because Grella feels it was a lightning strike or a power surge. So we're working with the insurance company right now, Hartford Steam Boiler, to hopefully get, we have a claim in, hopefully we'll get reimbursed some of the money.
Okay. Just to go back to the planning and zoning legal fees, we had put $5,000 in. Looks like they've spent $3,542 on your last report, Rick.
Yeah, and I just paid a bill for $820, I believe. So it's getting up there. I'm just letting you guys again.
Yeah, no, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about 87% into their line item on that.
Okay.
But do you think it's going to be coming to an end? I mean, or no?
We don't know. It's really, and then it could be another person walking in. Same thing with, going through all the files. It's hard to tell. Tom, I mean, right? There's no other way to tell.
Yeah, it was before the P&Z commission at the last meeting. It's going to be ongoing for a little while. There's some discussion on, past practice or previous use of the property. So it could drag on for a little while.
Okay. So you anticipate that entire department budget going over?
Oh, yeah.
Well, just because we didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna probably go over, but also we didn't put in raises this year. So there's already money, you know, what I mean, there's not a lot of wiggle room in that department because we already planned to pay that out of contingency in the first place. So just letting you guys know that department could be, you know, one that other than payroll.
Okay. And then the Eldridge, we won't know until the insurance.
Yeah, I mean, that's $9,000. That repair was $9,000. It wasn't a cheap repair.
And I think we had 12,000 in for water testing. That's
It's already over.
it's already, yeah. So we only had $32 left.
Actually, now it's over at 103%, I believe.
So if we get the 9,000 or 8,000 back, you know, then we should be back to normal, but we just don't have it yet. So you're going to see it being over month in and month out till we get the check back.
So if they approve the claim, we'll get some money back. If they don't, we're gonna have to make a transfer.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about totally making a transfer there because that's a big department. I'm just letting you know that line item you're going to see growing because that's part of government, and government has a lot of line items that can help each other out.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay. What did we want to run through real quick? If anybody has any questions, I just want to give everybody the opportunity to go through the statement of revenue. I don't see anything in there.
Actually, we have good news and interest. If you go down where the interest line is right there, I think it's 4,300 already over plan there. So that's good news. Bad news, inflation's way up. Good news, interest is coming in.
Right. Okay. The other item, was there anything else in there, Rick, you wanted to mention or no?
No, it's way too early.
Okay. And then we have our statement of expenditures and then appropriations. I had a couple of questions. One was obviously the ones we just talked about. So did anybody have any specific questions on that? No. It looks like, you know, we're obviously not over budget on anything yet. Some are running, we haven't spent it. And then there's this, just making a note here. I think it was second page here. Sorry, my Zoom screen's in the way. So the new equipment, fire truck new equipment is 82%. Do we anticipate that going over or?
Didn't go over now.
I know, but it's 82% and then we're
Yeah,
not.
but they're making one-time purchases.
Okay.
So it's not like they need to, you know, worry about more because they've already made the purchase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more front-end loaded
right
in terms of expenses and budget. So it just throws things off.
The other one was the gas. So was that? I think it was 40. Are we going to go over on that, or do we have a tank, or?
No, that's purchased at the pump. And that also, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the fuel for the airboat too?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because the truck diesel is above it. Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, because the fuel for the airboat and the saws and everything is race fuel. So they purchased that down Plymouth or Burlington. But that may go over.
Right.
Especially with the price of gas. And I think we kind of figured on that with contingency.
Okay, and then the insurance, that
should be good there.
Again? What?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. And then we had, so the summer salary, Beach and Rec. So
yeah, well, most of your summer's over. So
Right.
So only you have is, I think you have from Memorial Day to June 30th. And I mean, last summer, I think it was open every weekend. So, you know, I think she's still probably be okay though. I'm not sure. It depends on what the wages, but the way things are growing. So, but I think that's fine.
Well, you're not paying anything over the winter, right?
No, that's what I mean. So you only
Right.
have 5 weeks left to pay. And if it's
Okay.
perfect weekends, then it will cost, I don't know if it'll still go over then.
I think that's all. Carrie, I know you're an eagle eye on this stuff. Do you have any questions?
Nope. I think we went over this last one,
Well, this is a new one.
there wasn't really any changes that much.
There
Well,
are, Kip,
Yeah.
there's a couple line items you may be looking at later on in the year. We had 3 people leave employment in town of Morris. One was the assistant town clerk. And so given the payout for all the benefits at her retirement, I'm sure that line item will probably be going over at the end of the year. And we also have 2 guys from the highway department have left. They weren't there too long, so the payout probably wasn't too big, but you may also see that wage line item go over as well.
Okay. I think that was it.
Have they been replaced, Tom?
Yeah, we hired 1 person already and we're looking for another one.
Okay. So I'll just go back up to the agenda. Second to last item was the minutes from the previous. I have a copy here. Does everyone get a chance to read them? And do we want to make a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second, anyone?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay.
Yes.
The last item is new business or open discussion. One of the things I wanted to bring up, Harry brought it up the last meeting, I think it was her, about like what's the Board of Finance doing, supposed to be doing. And I had put together kind of a quick document that I wanted to share. I guess I have to stop sharing. Just get a agreement on that. So stop sharing here. And then so just so everybody, I just wanted to put this out here and discuss it. So the Board of Finance is the budgetary authority of the town. It consists of 6 elected members and 2 alternatives. I've seen some towns have 3 alternates, but our town has 2. The board's duties and responsibility are carried out in accordance with the state statutes, chapter 106, section 7-30 to 349. In accordance with the state statute, the board is specifically responsible for receiving the budget estimates from the Board of Selectmen and the education to assess or assist in making its final recommendation to towns, legislative body, taxpayers, for approval for the annual budget referendum. That's obviously what we do, right? We also set the annual mill rate based on the budget. We also approve deficiencies and special appropriations. It's kind of what we're going over right now. And we also do that at the end of the year. And we do budget transfers between the town departments. The fourth thing that we do is we oversee the town's accounting system, policies and procedures. So I think, Rick, you have the accounting system. We don't really oversee that per se, right?
No, but I mean, per se, no. But I mean,
Right.
I think you guys, we use Microfund as our
Right.
software.
Right. And then lastly, we select and engage independent auditor, which we're currently going through to arrange the final audit. So the Board of Finance is responsible for overseeing the town's municipal budget, working closely with the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Department, and other town departments with budget preparation, monitoring both income and expenses, kind of what we went through today throughout the year, including the monitoring of said budget after its adoption. All shall be responsible to access the records and the books, town and Board of Education of any organization that aids with town funds. So we have reports that are sent to us. If we need to dig deeper, we can do that. But those records should be available to the Board of Finance should we need to look at them. During the annual budget process, the Board of Finance conducts budget reviews meetings. So we bring people in as needed, as well as we hold public hearing and provide throughout the review public input during the town hearing. And then we propose a budget by the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Education. A significant role is to represent the taxpayers in the budget making process and to make final budget recommendations to the taxpayers for vote, right? So that's in a nutshell what the Board of Finance does. So I know, Carrie, you were concerned or wanted to know what we do. That is what we do.
I have a question for you. Thank you for doing this. This looked like it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Did you take this from the manual, or did you write this up? So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, did you write that up, or did you just copy it from?
No, I got it from a variety of sources, including the different sections within the state statutes. And this is one of the sections that I wanted to highlight as we talk about the need for transferring of appropriations from one area to another. So it's kind of a combination, really. And then I wanted to highlight this since there's been some discussion around how do we appropriate funds. So if the occasion arises whereby more money is needed for any department of the town other than what is appropriated or provided for, the selectmen shall notify the Board of Finance such fact, and the chairman of the Board of Finance shall call a meeting, therefore, and there's a lot of legal text here, but call a meeting to consider the appropriation or funding the department for the appropriation or the necessary appropriation of funds thereafter. And then it goes into how many times you can do that and what's the limit before you have to have a town vote on that limit. So that is the actual state statute for guidance. So I wanted to put that out. So kind of the bottom line here is the Board of Finance has oversight and line of sight into all expenditures. So as we move forward throughout the year, and then we close out the year, these line items that we are going over today and we'll continue to go over and Rick provides, we have oversight and we can ask questions on those items. Does that seem reasonable to everybody?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. Anything to add, Tracy?
I mean, what's here is fine. I think that's not where the source of contention was.
Right.
I think it goes to line item oversight is where the policies and procedures manual was changed to departmental.
Right. So,
removing line item oversight.
so I guess Tom and Rick, the question really is with this language here and how we have operated and continue to operate, should a department foresee a line item going over their budget, it's kind of, they need to bring that to our attention, either by the department head or through the treasurer and the selectmen.
Yeah, I mean, that's current practice.
Right. And if we, as the Board of Finance, decide that, make a decision that we do not want to spend or go over that line item, certainly there's items that we really can't have a debate on, that, like legal fees. We can't say, no, we're not going to fund that. I guess we could technically, but we're not going to do that, right?
What's the question again?
So I guess the question is, if there's a line item that is about to be, if a department head or first selectman or treasurer comes to the Board of Finance and says there's a line item that is about to go over, and it's not kind of a legal fee or an emergency, because there's language in place for that, and the Board of Finance says we don't approve that line item overage, do we go back to the department and say, sorry, gotta wait till next year?
Well, that really comes into the administration of the budget, and practice is that we don't go over unless we absolutely have to, and usually it is an emergency of some sort,
right?
Or unexpected expense that does happen, and generally we stay within the departmental budget and usually don't exceed that very often.
Right, so that's the overall departmental budget, right? We don't typically exceed that.
Sometimes we will have to go over on one line item, and but it's the way it works. I mean, it's kind of hard to throw a budget together a year in advance and expect to hit every mark exactly that way every time.
Yeah, and the departments historically, at least in the last few years, have been really good at keeping within their line items and overall budget. So I want to just commend each department on that for being fiscally responsible. I guess, and because that has sort of occurred, and we have good department heads and good, financial responsibility, it hasn't really been a problem. I guess the concern is, should there be some person or some department that feels like, well, we didn't spend all of our department budget and I want to go way over on this line item?
Well, that would have to go through the Board of Selectmen, and we would not approve such an expenditure. The Board of Selectmen administers the budget on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
That's their job.
But I guess the question, the outstanding question is, if, and I'm making this up, if the Board of Selectmen sort of agrees that, funds could be used for something other than what they were intended to be used for, and you sort of agree to that, is there any way that the Board of Finance can say, no?
No, I think what the Board of Finance comes into play is when it gets to be a departmental overage, made kind of clear. Again, the Board of Selectmen has the day-to-day administrative task of managing the budget for the town of Morris.
But I guess that goes back to, as the Board of Finance, we want to be able to, we should be able to say, no, you can't spend X number of dollars over your line item, because that's not, and again, this really hasn't happened recently, but we're just want to.
Excuse me, Kip, it has happened. The truck.
Right. But I mean, like
truck repair.
Right.
I mean, we can't call a Board of Finance meeting every time we need to make an expenditure that we really have to make in a line item, and it may push it over, like the well pumps or legal fees or something like that. We really can't call a Board of Finance meeting for every time like that. We do keep the Board of Finance aware of all the line items in the departments on a monthly basis, at least. We've made a pretty good effort to be transparent as far as what line items we think may go over.
Yep.
And we keep the Board of Finance informed that way. But the Board of Finance does not have administrative oversight of the day-to-day administration of the budget.
Yeah, but so if a line item goes over and the selectman and approves the line item to go over, and we want to see, you know, how was that actually spent, like the truck maintenance,
right?
Can we get records of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the truck maintenance thing was kind of brought up, but I don't think it was very clear to whoever brought it up. You know, we spent $5,000 on one of the highway trucks that needed the work done, or else it wouldn't be on the road, and we need that truck.
Right.
There was other expenses for various other repairs too. There wasn't $10,000 on one highway truck.
So I guess I would want to see more documentation on that, you know, like, because it looks like at the end of the year, you know, we have a new truck and everything's supposed to be maintained, and all of a sudden we're $10,000 over.
Oh, this wasn't a new truck.
No, I understand.
We haven't even gotten the new truck yet. It's still being built.
Right. So I guess that was the question, is like, how do we get sort of more detail on that? I mean, you can just.
I think Rick sends out the expenditure reports ahead of time. And
No,
we have asked multiple times for any questions ahead of time, so we can research it for you and get you the answers, you know, in time for your meeting. So you'll have the answers. You know, ask the questions. We can get you the answers.
Okay. So that is available to the department or the Board of Finance if we request.
Oh, sure.
So, and just let you guys know, June expenditures are always going to look, you know, crazy, because what happens is we don't do month-to-month close. We don't close every month. So you're getting bills that could have been from April, May, going into June. That's to close out the year. We don't do month-end closes. If we did month-end closes, June wouldn't look so funky, like someone went out just to go blow their budget. So you got to take that in mind. That's not how they run the town, to go out and, you know, make sure you expend all your money. That's why I always tell you, I can't give you the June report. Well, when I do give you the June report, that's not even close for being done for the entire year. You know, that's just the way it works. It's nothing other than that.
But okay, so I got a question for you there. I mean, not to say that this is being done, but that statement, I mean, not to say somebody doing accounts payables, not posting invoices, but you could have a stack of invoices for 2 months that you haven't posted to the GL, that the first selectman or, you know, the Board of Finance would have no clue about. And all of a sudden, come June, the town could be in trouble. Like, oh yeah, we're $15,000 over budget on this. You know what I'm saying? And so not doing a month-end close is actually concerning to me, because you know, somebody that's got lazy, all of a sudden, you know, some line items could be way over. The department heads could be, you know, not even know, because if you're not entering those, or if they didn't get entered, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but not when I say it's not posted to the correct month. If something happens from the 15th to the 30th of a month, when I get the bill, it could be 3 weeks later. It doesn't mean I don't know it didn't happen. We didn't pay the bill yet because we don't have the bill yet. They still have to use a PO system for over a certain dollar amount.
So are you encumbering it or no?
No, I don't have to encumber it. Not till the end of the year. And even then, we try not to encumber anything into the following year. Right. We try to pay all bills. I pay bills through the end of July. That's why we do the transfers in August.
Well, yeah, I get that. But no, in terms of just like, if are the POs actually getting?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, they're
Are
encumbered.
the POs
Oh,
getting?
yes. Yes, they're encumbered.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my question.
And also, we also get statements from every company we basically deal with, which comes out on the 1st. So it's pretty hard to slide something through that we don't see.
Okay.
Because I go looking for the invoice.
Okay. I mean, you know, in terms of the process, I mean, you know, look, things are going to pop up. I mean, that all of a sudden, you know, that we're going to find out about and have a discussion. I mean, if we have concerns, we just have to ask for the detail. And as Tom said, that he'll supply the detail to us. So.
Yeah, and I guess at the end of the day, if we have a department that goes crazy, and you know, Tom, you're not going to be the first selectman forever, and we have a crazy first selectman. You know, how does the Board of Finance kind of control crazy spending? If we have a rogue department head and a rogue first selectman, and the Board of Finance gets notified after the fact that we had some crazy spending, and we say, no, it's already spent. So that's...
You could do what ifs quite a bit. I mean, you'd have to have, I guess, what you'd call a rogue department head submitting these POs, I imagine, because you're talking about large spending, so it'd be over $500. And you'd probably have to have a rogue treasurer too, and a rogue first selectman and a rogue board of selectmen, because you have at least 2 of the board of selectmen members signing each check along with the treasurer. So you got a lot of rogue going on, which I honestly don't think is going to happen.
I mean, because Tom, what is you need 2 signatures on what size check?
You need 3 signatures on all checks for the general fund and the O2, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So I have to sign, and 2 board of selectmen have to sign.
Okay.
So we're looking at all invoices as we're signing.
So there's a lot.
All the checks.
There's a lot of checks and balances.
There certainly is.
But is there?
I mean, here's the thing: the auditors in their management letter have never commented about our internal controls. Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you know, look, I'm back on the board. I haven't looked at a management letter in 2 years, but I don't remember that coming up. So. So obviously the auditors aren't worried about it in terms of internal controls.
Well, I think this is the first time it's been actually a formal policy change. I mean, there's been, you know, I go back a bit. So there was certainly a lot of non-compliance issues. And this situation came up. I guess just taking the truck maintenance as an example, and this has happened. Coming to the Board of Finance, and it could be in a phone call, it could be an email to Kip or whatever. There are times, and this looked like it happened at the end of the year, we've worked with the highway department, you know, they come in and say, we got this truck and it's just, you know, everything's falling off of it. Maybe it's 1 truck, maybe it's 10, doesn't matter. And sat with the Board of Finance and looked at it and said, well, what can you do? And we've literally done this. Okay, you know, you got this overage coming. Sometimes the budget's tighter. In this particular instance, there was money in the budget. Salt was down $10,000, so it was easy to do it. But come before the Board of Finance and say, we know this has to be done, and we've actually made recommendations and worked with them where we split it. Maybe they did some in June and then some went to the next budget because they figured that if these repairs were made and it went to next year, they'd be pretty good next year. So it wasn't such an encumbrance on this side or whatever. So, I mean, there was a lot of discussion with the Board of Finance regarding the overages in the past. There hasn't been an issue. The Board of Finance has not been punitive and just said no. You know, I think we worked with all the departments for things like that, but I guess it's just a little disconcerting that we didn't know about this till after the fact. I know I asked about it. I know Carrie asked about it. And now you're saying we have to make a formal request to the selectmen prior to the meeting. So I mean, yeah, I'd like to know what the truck maintenance was that was over budget. I would have liked to know before or during. And the past practice is we did know before or during. Doesn't mean we shut them down, you know, doesn't mean we say, nope, you're over line, can't happen. You know, you work with your departments, they have been good. The spending has been in control, but you know, and you know what's going on. Then if we're questioned, we know what's going on and say, well, you know, why do we buy new trucks and then we have this truck maintenance? Well, this particular truck needs this, and this. And then
we didn't have the other truck.
Right. And we go in and we don't have the new truck yet. Then we go into the next budget season. And if we did make half the expenditure, if we had it split in half, we knew coming in the first month, you're going to have a big expenditure truck maintenance. You already know what that is. You don't have to go back and ask. You don't have to say, well, why did we do this? Why did we do that? So you kind of have a better knowledge. At the very least, you have a better knowledge of the working budget. So,
and the Board of Finance can then also potentially make recommendations as to holding or reallocating or something along those lines.
Or, you know, if you're going to pull from another line, you're aware what line you're going to take it from. They say, well, we have this money over here. So you're aware of that. So you don't come in next year and say, we only spent 20,000 in salt. Why are you asking for 30? You know, you already know this is the reasons why, you know, so you're not playing catch up and all that. You just know going in, well, this is what happened. On to the next thing. So, I mean, I made it no secret. I'm not comfortable with the language change of the policies of taking away that line item oversight.
So basically, isn't this boiling down to some people we feel that we're not being apprised of a situation?
Well, so I think we can all agree, and you know, maybe there's a little bit difference of opinion here.
Trying to nail it down.
But so I think we all get and are apprised of monies that have been spent. That's not really the issue, I don't think. The issue is we like to be apprised prior to the monies being spent.
Exactly what I was trying to drive at.
Right. So we know emergencies come up and we shouldn't have to, like, you know, call a special meeting if an emergency comes up. But and we'll just use the truck thing because it's we're discussing it. But hey, the department says, you know, we got some trucks that really needs a lot of maintenance. Can we be proactive about that and say, you know, we're going to probably we did earlier tonight. You know, the legal fees are going to bring us over the line item.
We've got to be in lockstep.
We got to be in lockstep.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So when I send out my email, I maybe I should get it approved by Tom, but when I write, can you send us the questions before the meeting? It's so we could actually answer the question intelligently so we could get it done in one shot. It's not that every question that has to be asked has to be sent prior, but when I listened to your last meeting on Zoom, when I start hearing $10,000 over on truck maintenance, and I'm like, $10,000 over on truck maintenance. And so when I went in there, I realized I went to see what it was. And you know what, if we had that question earlier, I would say the cost was really on the one truck, which was the 2012 truck that we own, which needs to last at least another 10 years before we buy another one. The starter didn't work. So it had to be towed to the Ford shop. The starter needed to be replaced. There was an exhaust leak where they were smelling it in the cab. That had to get fixed. And also it had a wheel bearing issue. So it wasn't that, again, I listened to these conversations because of a question that comes up that we weren't able to answer last meeting clearly. Again, it's not $10,000 for that one truck. It was $5,200. And it wasn't because it was the end of the year and we figured, let's try to get this truck fixed before next year because we have money in the account. This is a truck they use every day. But we sit here like we did something, you know what I'm saying? If you can give us if we know what the questions are, we could end them in one shot versus 2 meetings now are discussed on this one line item on trucks. And it's weird.
But Rick, my problem is that you're looking at it as we have to ask the questions. I guess what we're kind of trying to say, and I think I'm right, is that knowledge should be given to us as it's in real time. And, you know, it shouldn't have been something that we have to look at a report and take time out and send an email and all that, that should have been discussed in real time with the Board of Finance. Then we wouldn't have to have 2 meetings to ask the questions, and you guys wouldn't have to research the questions because we know the answers. So that's what I'm saying. It's frustrating now to be sure 2-3 meetings down the road and you're saying, well, you didn't ask the question. It's like, you know,
But you had the question.
But why weren't we made aware of that when?
No, what I'm saying is you had
the
the question was in someone's pocket waiting to ask it during a meeting. So if you have it in your pocket, why don't you just show it before the meeting?
So Rick,
I didn't know
so
until the
someone's feeding the
meeting,
question,
why
right?
was the overage done? Why was the report sent without the explanation of, and again, past practices and what used to happen is that when these reports were done, the overages, we went over them and we knew, you know, what was going on or what's coming up. It's like planning and zoning legal. You told us they're embroiled in some legal situations. We all know legal is an unfunded mandate. And unfunded mandate means we're spending the money whether we like it or we don't like it.
Well, that's why we've been making these updates for the Board of Finance at every meeting.
so I guess.
But I don't,
so
I guess I feel a little disingenuous.
We cannot anticipate every single question from every board member.
But why
So
are we
if
asking
you have
questions?
some questions, all you have to
I
do
don't
is
wanna ask you-
perhaps send them to Kip and he can put them in an email to Rick
But
and
Tom,
myself, and we can
Tom,
get
hold
them
on.
answered for you.
Why do we ask questions?
Why do you ask questions?
Right.
I mean, you have
Why
to look
can't
at
you give us the
reports.
information?
So I guess what Tracy's trying to say, hold on a second. What Tracy's trying to say, and I agree with her here, is if there's a line item that is over, rather than just send the report and have us plow through, 15 pages of line items, why can't we say, or, be apprised prior?
Yeah, but what did we just do this meeting, the previous meeting, and meeting before that?
Yeah, well,
that's what we're doing.
Right.
I don't get it.
But
why is there questions asked about truck maintenance and you guys are upset because you didn't know there was questions about it?
I'm not upset. It's just we can't anticipate every question from every board member.
No, I know.
I don't
the
want
Board
to
of
ask
Finance.
questions.
we don't necessarily, we don't want to have to do it retroactively. So I guess what we're asking is,
well, that's what we're doing for you.
I know you are doing that. The last 2 meetings, you did bring us.
I've done it in the past.
Okay.
Maybe
Well,
we missed one on the truck thing, is a repair that had to get done, as Rick explained. Maybe I can't catch everything for you, but we are trying to be as transparent as possible.
And also truck maintenance happened at the end of the year where we were going through budget.
Yes. Yeah, like
What?
we
I
had
mean-
a problem with such a truck.
Here's the thing, is, I mean, I think what, in terms of, I do agree with, Tracy and Kip, if, the reports are getting sent out. Look, I have a board meeting tomorrow and my board report, I've got a couple areas, accounts that I'm concerned about, and I let my board know ahead of time because it's just going to make for a smoother meeting. Tom, I know you can't anticipate everything. I mean, in terms of the fiscal office, but okay, if it's something that big going out in a report, I mean, just include an email saying, hey, by the way, truck maintenance when is over and it's not one truck, it's these 3 things. Just that kind of explanation goes a long way in terms of not that, and I'm please, in terms of maintaining trust, building trust, whatever. That's not, we don't have any trust issues, but it's just, we're all working together. And so, I just think if you see something that's coming up, like the legal fees, that was great. But there's something that's already going to be over. I mean, it's just knowing about it ahead of time. Because look, we're all putting time in to this, and so I just feel like the better we can communicate, because going through the report and then us sending Kip an email, we can do that. That's fine. But anything big ticket item that you're seeing coming or concerned about, it's super helpful for us. That's all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure everyone remembers from the previous meeting about the water heater pavilion, correct?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
That was great.
And everyone's going to remember that at the end of the year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, but so Tom, that's a perfect example of being proactive and saying,
And this is what we've been doing.
okay,
But at the end of the year, if it stays the same, probably gonna ask if you ever got the insurance money back. I mean.
Well, you'll probably get a report ahead
Watch
of
it.
that because
Yeah,
you'll know when we put the money back into that account and we've gotten the check from the
Right.
insurance company, because
Yeah.
I'll give you a report on
If
that.
it's not there, I'll remember.
Okay.
okay.
All right. If we can just move forward, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clear that up. I think that was the last item on the agenda, unless anyone else has anything else.
No.
No?
If not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So 7:46.
All right.
Thanks,
So
thanks, everybody.
who seconded
Yep.
that? See?
Yes,
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you.
always on the ball for those seconds.